What's up, you guys? Welcome back and welcome if you're new. In today's video, we're going to be installing 35-inch tires onto my Tacoma. So as you can tell right now, it does have 33s and it does make it look really small. So I can't wait to see how it's going to look when we actually put the 35-inch tires. And then I'll go ahead and show you guys if I need to do some more trimming or anything like that. As far as suspension, what I have here is the iBack Pro Lift Stage 2. Let's see if that's enough clearance for it to clear 35s. So right now I'm going to go ahead and get the measuring tape and I'm going to do some measuring from the front. And I'm also going to be doing the back, and then once we put the 35-inch tires, I'll go ahead and give you guys some measuring on that just to see how much more it lifted. Let's check it out. I'm going to measure from the ground all the way to the fender. So from the ground up, it's about a little bit more than 38 inches. I know my rear is a little bit higher than the front, so hopefully I think the rear is going to be fine. The front's where it's going to rub a lot. Ground up, I'm at about maybe 40 inches and a half. Ground up from the center. So hell yeah. So now that we got the measurings there, let's go ahead and put the 35s on, show you guys how it looks, and then we'll measure it out, see what else I need to cut. Let's get to it. Now that we have the 35s installed, right now I'm going to go ahead and show you guys, but just looking at it right off the bat, it looks awesome. We also just took it off-road just to kind of see where it's going to be rubbing and where we're going to need to cut, stuff like that, because we are going to need to cut, of course. So right now what I'll do is I'll flip the camera around, I'll let you guys see it, and then we'll go ahead and get some measurements. Once we show you guys that, then we'll go back to the house and then finally start cutting and just kind of show you guys where it's actually rubbing, and that way you guys get an idea if you guys want to do the same thing. Let's go ahead and get it. Let's go ahead and now just show you guys kind of where it's rubbing. So of course right here in the back, it's no problem. Worried that it was going to end up tucking up here, but it didn't look like it hit anything. So back here we're pretty good. All right, you guys, so let me go ahead and show you guys kind of where it's rubbing in the front. So if you can tell right here, it was actually pushing on that, so I know that's going to end up tearing the tire if I don't address it now. As you can tell, it's rubbing there and all along right here. It's rubbing all up there, right here. Camera, let me try to get you guys a better angle. But as you can tell, that's basically where it's hitting. So right now I have my good friend Alex right here. Hell yeah. He's the one that's actually going to be doing the chopping, because if I do it, I might mess it up. All right, you guys, so now for the measurements. So looking up right here, it's about 39 1/4. So it looks like it did raise it quite a bit. So for the rears, it looks like we have 41 1/2. Let's go ahead and now get to the cutting process. All right, you guys, so now that we're back home, we're going to go ahead and start cutting and removing, because you are going to need to remove a couple screws and a couple clips if you guys are doing this process. So noticing right here on this gray trim here, whether you guys have the Sport or the TRD off-road, they're the same type of fender trim right here. You're gonna notice, so right here usually there's gonna be a 10mm bolt, which I've removed because, like I was saying, it was hitting the tire. So I removed that one, and then there's one more 10 there, another 10 right here, and then up top right here there's one here, one here, there'll be one there. And then if you guys haven't chopped it up like me, like this, if your wheel well's still in the correct position, there should be, I believe, another 2 underneath. All in the interior, there's going to be a bunch of clips, but there should be a clip down here for you guys, a little clip. There'll be a clip there in that position. There'll be one there. The one that's there, there's one there. And I believe there's another one at the bottom. So once you remove the wheel well, you could also then remove this fender trim. And one thing I did want to know, when you take this thing off, there's a bunch of clips going around it. So if I was you guys, I'd highly recommend just purchasing some brand new clips like this. The reason why, because those break off super easy, and it'll just make your job a lot easier because you can go ahead and just kind of rip it off. And it's going to be the same thing with underneath the wheel well. Those clips, if I was you guys, I wouldn't be that careful because we're not putting this wheel well back in. So yeah, so we're going to get to that process now. Hell yeah. And of course, once we remove all the screws, like I said, and up next is now kind of pulling this apart. What you do is just literally pull back. There may be some sticky stuff like this, so that might make it a little harder, but it's no problem. Just go ahead and yank it off. You can do it carefully if you're trying to save the clips, but I'd seriously highly recommend just purchasing new ones. It'll save you time. So another thing that I did want to note is, of course, once we cut this, you are going to, of course, see the cutting. So what's going to help with that is actually getting some edge trim like this. I'll go ahead and make sure to link this down below. It's actually really cheap. It's on Amazon, and it'll make it for a lot cleaner look once you're done. Looking back on the truck, as you can tell, it's like crazy dirty under here, and these are the clips I was talking about that kind of tend to break. So make sure you purchase new ones. They're super cheap. So you do want to clean off this surface up next. I'm going to go ahead and remove all this glue as well. We're going to go ahead and start taping off the area and just kind of showing you guys where we're going to be cutting. Another thing I did want to note while he's removing the clips, if you guys do remember, like I told you, there's like some type of goo right here, or glue. Basically what that is just kind of some type of 3M tape. So if you guys do want to go to the extreme, just go ahead and purchase some brand new double-sided 3M tape. So that way when you go to reinstall the fender trim, you can go ahead and put basically a brand new tape of this. So I'm going to try to remove as much as I can so that way this sticks to the paint. Another tip we wanted to give you guys, get some pliers, crush them in and twist it, and it removes just like that. If you get a panel removal tool, it makes it a lot harder, but as you can tell, he's not even struggling at all. So of course, now that we removed all the clips that were there, up next we're now removing this like double-sided 3M tape. We're going to use some tape like this, just painter's tape, and we're basically going to be following the line all the way around, and that's going to be our cutting point. All right, so let me go ahead and show you guys kind of what we did here. So you have two options. You could either use, of course, some painter's tape and a marker, or you can use two types of painter's tapes, one that's darker and one that's lighter. That's what we did here. So let me show you why. So going around right here, which is going to be, of course, all the way here where our markings are going to be, we put the darker one underneath, kind of where we need to cut. So the transparent one is right on top, just so that way, like I was saying earlier about the paint, so it won't start chipping off and going crazy everywhere. You're going to notice basically the line we're going to be following is the green one. So you can see it from the transparent tape right underneath there. We're going to follow all that along, and that's going to be where that creasing was that I showed you guys in the beginning, and we're going to come down about right here. Reason why we're not coming all the way up here, I'm getting a brand new front steel bumper, and I'm not sure exactly how far back it goes. So if we chop all the way here, and then when I get the bumper, it's going to sit way back here and it's not going to look right. So we're bringing down the cut about here, so that way it looks nice and clean. You guys will see, of course, once we get started. Steve, can we go back to stock?
Yeah, this is easily fixable. Just get a new fender. That's it.
Okay. So just to give you guys an idea, this is how much we cut off. So that's probably about 2 to 3 inches. Of course, this is going to be gone. And like I was saying, the wheel well, we're not going to need it anymore. So yeah, it's going to be a little bit exposed up here, but it's fine. And I need to reroute these wires because I don't want that just kind of dangling there. But there it is. Up next, we're going to remove the tape right here. We're gonna clean off the surface. Alright you guys, so once you finished up the cut, if you guys do have some touch-up paint or something like that, go ahead and cover the exposed metal. You can go ahead and of course move onto your fender. So basically what we did here is we just kind of slightly reinstalled it, and then from the back side we took a marker and we took measurements, and this is what we got. So we're going to be cutting basically around there, and this one is the one that you want to be really careful with because this is actually what's going to show. So when you're doing this cutting, just try to do it as stable as you can so you get a nice clean cut. And then of course if you get the edge trimming, it helps out a lot more. So right now, really quick, now that we're done with the cutting on the actual trim, we're going to go ahead and just kind of give you guys some measurements as far as how much we cut. So looking at the measuring tape here, I don't know how well you can see it on the camera, but it looks like we cut about 2 inches all the way around, and that should be good enough. Of course, now that we gave you guys the measurements, now I'm gonna go ahead and remove the tape. I'm gonna use a file to go ahead and just shave this down so it looks a little bit smoother, and then I'll put my edge trimming. So I've now filed down the actual fender. After that, you wanna go ahead and make sure to put some touch-up paint. You could do that, you don't have to. Steve's saying not to, I'm saying do it. So it's up to you guys. Now, after we've cut the trim, go ahead and get your file and do the same thing.
There's the face of like scared right here.
I'm pretty scared.
It was like me when I was at Cleghorn a couple nights ago.
Oh, you should have seen this guy. He almost rolled. You should have been there, Alex. It was funny. Now that I'm kind of satisfied with it, it's not 100% good, but I'm okay with it. Now I'm going to go ahead and get my edge trimming and just kind of go around it just so it looks nice and clean. Like I was telling you guys, this will help out if you guys do get it, and this literally just slides in. So right here, basically what I'm doing is I'm just reinstalling some 3M tape, just kind of how I had it from the factory. Once I finish this up, I've already put the edge trimming on the plastic. So once I finish this, we'll then start putting the brand new clips that go in here, and then we'll reattach the fender piece here, and we'll be done.
Nah, because you look cute.
You're getting the back.
Yeah.
Now that we put the edge trimming on there, now it looks nice and clean. Up next, like I was saying, make sure to buy some of these little things on Amazon. They're super cheap. We're gonna go ahead and now replace the clips, reinstall, and we're done. Just to show you guys, so just in case you guys are taking it off and putting brand new clips in there, just make sure to take a picture of before, and then of course, so that way you kind of reference it so you know where they go. Some holes are a little bit bigger, which take the orange. Some holes are a little bit smaller, which take the blue. Once you've done that, now we can go ahead and attach it to the truck. All right, you guys, so now that we've done the fender trimming, I already driven on it, I've driven on the road, I've driven off-road, so I know where it's still rubbing. So basically what I'm going to go ahead and show you guys right now is a couple clips, and just so you guys kind of see it on video where it's still rubbing at. So after I show you guys that, I do want to let you guys know some key points on if you guys are thinking of running 35s, what you guys should kind of consider and think about before you do it. So right now, let's go ahead and roll those clips and we'll get back to you guys. As you can tell, on the fender itself, no more rub, but if you look right in here, let me show you guys. So right here, it's now rubbing in there. So I'm not sure if I need to realign it or what. So if you guys do have some insight on that, go ahead and let me know. But it is rubbing still on the cab mount. Fix that issue. Now up next, I need to do the cab mount relocation kit. All right, you guys, so I hope you guys enjoyed those little clips. I know it was just a little bit, but I wanted to go ahead and show you guys just kind of how it looks on the flexing on 35. Let me go ahead and now show you guys just kind of like a little recap on what we cut and then what's still needed after this. Just in case you guys are considering it, it is a little bit pricey, so just keep that in mind. So let's go ahead and now move on over here. So basically what we did in today's video is we did the fender trimming, which is this. We cut about 2 inches off of the fender, so it gave us a lot more clearance. So now that we've done that, it's not rubbing anymore. Let me go ahead and show you guys just where it's still rubbing. So come on closer over here. If you guys look in here, I know it's going to be kind of hard to see it on camera, but if you guys see here and here, right there, it's still rubbing. So basically what this is down here, this metal piece, that's my cab mount. I've previously done a cab chop from Beast Fab, of course, so shout out to him. It was perfectly fine when I was running 33s. I never had any issues, I never had any rubbing, but now with these bigger size tires, I am going to need to do a cab mount relocation kit, which is completely chopping the whole thing off and redesigning it. So I'm not going to tell you guys what company I'm going with just yet, so make sure to stay tuned, stay subscribed if you guys are curious on that. We're also going to need to probably push some of this back right here, which is the pinch weld, because I know it kind of hits on there and I'm a little bit afraid because it is pretty sharp here. So we're going to need to push that back and then kind of clean it up. If you guys are planning on doing 35s, first off, of course, is buying the tires. That alone is not cheap. If you guys are thinking 35s, they're not cheap. The next thing you're going to need to do is do the fender trimming like this. On most cases, I sit a little bit lower than other Tacoma owners that have 35s, so I for sure had to do it. I had to trim all this. Keep that in mind. You're going to need to chop the fender. Up next, and keep that in mind, that's not cheap either. If you want it done with high quality and you take it to a shop, they charge a good amount, but now that we did it ourselves, I see why they charge that amount. It's not it takes a long time. I'll put it that way. It's not that easy as it looks. The next thing after doing that is, of course, like I was saying earlier, the cab mount relocation kit. That is also pricey, and you are going to need to do that if you plan on running 35s. The next thing you're going to need to do, which is not cheap at all, is the re-gear. Depending on where you go, it runs about $1,800. So just kind of depending on what shop you go with, what gears and stuff like that. So that's not cheap either. So make sure you keep that in mind. And then, of course, a lot more things have to be done. You have to have the right suspension and all that stuff so you can clear them. You cannot do this on stock suspension. These tires will not fit. I can guarantee you that. But yeah, I just wanted to let you guys know what's needed to actually make this work. And of course, we showed you guys a little bit on what we did personally. The rest of the work, I'm going to take it to a shop. I don't trust myself doing that. You guys will see what shop I go with. They're pretty known. A lot of people know them. So yeah, I trust them. So if you guys do have any more questions on how I ran these 35s or need pictures or anything like that, you guys can follow my Instagram. I've posted a couple on there. You guys can ask me questions on how I made it work. So if you guys did enjoy today's video, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. We'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.
JesseRizo is here for you. It's here for you now. Like I said, it's super simple. Please feel free to subscribe.